Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Man, We're Too Old for This. I'm your host for today, the experienced some call Jason, and with me is...
CDO113, back from being sick, yay!
The token not super excited about the sick person being next to them, Tarky.
Oh, I'm not sick anymore, I'm well now. The doctor cleared.
It was a coronavirus. By Tarky.
I mean,
And the Todd fault.
it's less dangerous than a normal virus, so.
And today we're going to be talking about video games, or computer games, electronic games. And what type we wish they would make. Kind of kind of our idealized game or a genre we would like. That, maybe they made, used to make some and have stopped. Or that they've never quite done...
Correctly.
Yeah, never quite done the genre or the style of game like we'd like.
Porn.
What?
I'm sure they have, but I don't know. For me, what I would like is an open world superhero game in kind of the style of Fallout or Skyrim.
Yes. You took the words out of my mouth.
Years ago, Bullfrog Games, which is, I think, a now defunct company, had and I've still got the PC magazine where they were PC World? Anyway, I got the magazine where they were announcing that they were working on this. I kept it because I was super excited about it. Where they were going to do one, they had a list of games they were going to do, where you would, you'd build your hero, you would be in the city, you would have, you'd have the open world kind of events to go do, and then you had to do things like keep your collateral damage down, because if you were wrecking the city too much, they'd kick you out.
Nice.
And it was going to be a procedurally generated city and whatnot, but and the company fell apart because all their games were hinging on them coming up with this new technology, new kind of way to build the models where you could kind of morph them in real time, and they never figured that out.
You remember when the folks that did, what did they end up doing? Champions? Originally had the Marvel license?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that game. I wanted that game so bad.
And if you go play Champions Online, you can still see bits and pieces of where, the desert area was clearly going to be Gamma Base, and they changed it, and some of the stuff in their Canada area was clearly going to be kind of the Weapon X facility. And City of Heroes and later Champions Online are as close as they've come to what I want. But they fall into certain kind of traps. Being an MMO, there's certain things they had to do and ways they had to do things that isn't perfect. Like I said, I'm looking for something more like Fallout and Skyrim and games like that.
Yeah. You want to randomly run into the Hulk. I'm going along doing this. I open the door. There's the Hulk.
Well, then you close the door.
Well, you also have scripted, planned out things, so it could be either way. That was one weakness in City of Heroes, especially in Champions. They tried to fix it a little, but never did. Was all your villains were parts of groups. You didn't tend to run into the random, the Juggernaut's just robbing a bank. It was always somebody that had minions, and Champions started, like I said, Champions started playing with that a little bit and getting away from that with some of their alert missions and stuff, where it might be individual villains. Even potentially the nemesis you created for your character could crop up.
The game that I can, think about that came closest to having a superhero world that you were running around doing that game wasn't a superhero game at all. It was the Saints Row, was it 4 or 5, where the aliens had invaded.
Yeah, the only Saints Row game I played.
And your character actually becomes a superhero by the way that you gain the abilities because you're in a simulated world. Spoiler. But if they had taken that and actually used those kind of, not graphics, but that kind of model, that engine, and said, okay, we're going to actually build a superhero world. You can create your hero. Here's the options of powers, because you had super speed, strength, flight. I mean, you could have done it all. And
the Saints Row one was fun, but it was pretty much just one of the old Xbox games. Where you played the Super Cop.
Crackdown.
Crackdown, thank you.
Yeah.
How in the world did you forget Crackdown?
You're
and
the one that
Crackdown-
likes
and
Crackdown.
I
Crackdown is
know.
your shit.
I just blame being old and only having a couple hours to play this one.
Well, but what I'm saying, take that model and engine and
I'm just saying
expand.
you have to flesh out. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to flesh out the
flesh-
powers a lot.
I'm sitting there the whole time going, I know this motherfucker ain't talking about Crackdown.
Well, they
Crackdown
they
is
had
a
a couple
jam.
of- if I'm not mistaken, they had a couple of the programmers from Crackdown come in and work with them on.
It was all it was Crackdown, basically.
But that would have been the basis of, hey, let's do this, and we could create an awesome superhero world. If we get it licensed with either Marvel or DC, or hell, both of them, we could create 2 games, and you could have that feel.
And then dogs and cats would live together.
I had heard rumors.
With a fly.
By rumors, I mean I talked to somebody that worked for the company a year or two ago, saying that the company, is it Daybreak Studios, that does the DC Universe Online game, had gotten the Marvel license and were working on it. But I haven't heard anything else about that since, so I don't know if it's fallen through. I've lost contact with
The person.
yes, my contact.
Who shall not be named.
No, I wouldn't want to get me in trouble. So I don't know if anything came of it because he figured it'd be another couple of years, and then they do the Marvel one and kind of sunset DC. Because the DC game been around for a while now.
Yeah.
But then they just released it on.
Console?
Well, it was already on PlayStation, but they're no longer associated with Sony. So then they brought it to Xbox, and I think it just came out for whatever Nintendo's current one is.
Switch?
Yeah.
Switch.
The Switch.
I'll tell you a game or you had a real cheesy one years ago. I never played it. My cousin had it. The G.I. Joe, where you make the sides.
Yeah.
I never played it. But I always thought, after seeing especially like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and games like that, do a G.I. Joe game from that concept where you start with one Joe and then you build up your squad and you got the
After the Joe movie came out, didn't they do something similar to
Yeah,
that?
they did one around the time that Rise of Cobra was out because we played it.
I mean, it was not an open world by any stretch of the imagination.
Or good.
But
It was mildly amusing for a couple of
Was
days.
it as good as the Justice League one?
The
Hell
Justice
no.
League one was good.
No, the Justice League one was fun. I wish to God they'd done another one then.
Yeah, Justice League. Or was it DC? No, Justice League Heroes was the
Yeah.
other one.
One where I was going
It
around
was-
playing Zatanna turning bastards into bunnies. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. I think we unlocked everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was good that it came out before Marvel Ultimate Alliance. 'Cause
Yeah.
Ultimate Alliance blew it out of the water, but
well, when you're Doctor Strange and can turn people into boxes and smash them and
Well, see, that was
loot.
the trick. Is Doctor Strange? The best thing about him was his attack fairies.
like those flying piranhas.
Yeah.
I love them damn things. Attack them like fairies.
But see,
Because they went through walls and shit.
is it alright to segue into this?
Sure, because
Well,
you're
well-
probably going to be the only one that's not going superhero.
Cool. Well, this is still about superheroes.
Oh, well then we're all
See, the Justice League Hero games did rip off the X-Men games, which were the precursor.
That's true.
to
That's
our
true.
original.
That's true. X-Men
Because it
Legends
was
did come out
just
first.
Ultimate Alliance, but with X-Men characters only.
That's right. Yeah, I had forgotten about those.
And it is right because Scarlet Witch was in that when she turned your ass into a box.
Yep.
I know because that's what I liked about it.
Yep, you hit that power. Suddenly, a bunch of goons became boxes. You smash them, collect loot,
Yep.
gear, and all that. And you're like,
Because that was the thing. That power turns enemies into boxes with stuff you want in them.
and what I like is
Bad guys are pinatas. If you
You
smash
know-
them, candy falls out of their guts.
every now and then, one of the other characters on the board would react to that, like,
You're
that.
killing them anyway.
Yeah, that was one of the things I liked
No,
about.
no, they would just end up being knocked out and then they disappear once they're unconscious.
Oh, that's my buddy.
Wolverine would hit you with 9 unbreakable metal claws.
That was my buddy. Mine.
Dead.
He
Unless you play Wolverine, because in that first X-Men Legends game, if you hit them with Wolverine, they would actually spurt blood.
my buddy Heath playing Sea of Heroes, where he was a minor celebrity. Well, his character Big Top anyway. That was a comment he made one time when somebody mentioned, "Oh yeah, we're arresting these guys." He's like, "I don't see my character with any handcuffs. I just beat them till they fall down and they go away."
arrest people was Narc. Remember the little Narc game?
Yes, I'd forgotten about
you
that.
could either mow people, you could mow crackheads down with reckless abandon, or you could arrest them. But arresting them took time.
You had to follow them, through the court system. Give
Well,
them
no,
2 weeks before their appearance.
You could run up and stop. Is it the one where you could run up and stop and frisk people if they had drugs?
Crackheads were like zombies, so you had waves of them coming at you, and you could mow them down with your gun. Because if they got close enough, they would throw like dirty needles and shit at you.
It was not a simulationist game.
They would throw dirty needles at you, but if you got up close to them, they would surrender, and you would arrest them. But it took time that you got waves of crackhead zombies throwing needles at you.
Nice.
So it was just easier to mow everybody down, and then get in your cool Porsche with the machine guns on front, and shoot rockets at people and mow them down. Yeah.
It was in the 80s or 90s when,
It was a Just Say No to Drugs video game.
I mean, they were rough enough on that back then that, even in the G.I. Joe cartoon where nobody ever died, Cobra Commander just flat out smoked a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You had a game in the 90s. I don't think it was. I remember playing Narc, but this was another one because it was kind of like that open world, like Grand Theft Auto, but you were a cop and you would run down the street, and if you saw somebody doing a drug deal, you could tackle them and handcuff them, and your character would call in for a pickup, and the van would come rushing by and just grab the dude and snatch him off the street. But I mean, if you're riding down the road, you saw a bunch of mob goons or whatever, bam, 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 drop them, and the radio would, officer involved shooting, so and so. We need to pick up on Bleecker Street or whatever. It's like, okay, now that's cool. It was on the original Xbox.
You never have it in Narc because, like I said, you got a rocket launcher. Oh look, it's a mob of crackheads throwing their dirty needles at you.
Knock them out with the rocket launcher.
I'm gonna knock them. No, well, you knew they wouldn't knock them out.
Knock them dead.
Well, you had body parts flying.
Oh.
When the rocket hit, it's.
Oh, in the one I'm talking about, if you shot somebody, they blood, and they'd be laying there on the sidewalk bleeding.
But if you just hit a Band-Aid?
If you tackled them, you'd beat them up a little bit and then cuff them and leave them unconscious for the pickup wagon.
That's why we all fucked up in the head. Game's sick.
Bad style, though.
Sick.
So you're basically with me on the open world superhero game.
Dude, everybody here is going superhero.
I love open world games. I love the open world games, period, because it gives you that feel of, hey, I need to go over here, I need to go over there, and it's that. Like I've been played through Watch Dogs 1 and 2 back to back, and it's where you're a bunch of hackers and you're trying to stop the evil corporations and crap. But it's set in an open world setting. The first one was in Chicago.
So you're hackers that run around doing things,
which hackers don't do.
Yeah.
Well, you got a
pasty.
You have
open world hacker game should be some guy in his basement that ain't seen the sun in 30 years and he's fighting on rickets.
It's kind of like.
Well, in this one, you've got like DedSec is the hacker collective. You've got some of them that never leave the little bunker. You play the guy that goes out and like
you want to stick a little USB in everywhere. Like, now we know where we are.
Well, you got some places that are closed system. You can't hack into them. You have to actually get somebody to the building to put a Wi-Fi device in, and that's what your guy does and runs around.
I've never played these games, but I knew what was going on.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, kind of.
So anyway, what kind of game would you like?
All right, they exist. I'll let you get
open world porn game.
That's kind of Grand Theft Auto. Anyway,
that's the car.
There's a guy that's got an entire YouTube channel where he shows the freaky, creepy Skyrim mods that people have done. I mean, it's censored because it's a YouTube channel.
But he's watched all the videos. No, anyway. There was a brief moment, and I believe it was Call of Duty Black Ops 2, where you have a tactical command over units. So it's kind of like, almost like a real-time strategy game. But you can kind of dive into a unit. And you just start, first person playing it. And thinking about that, I was always like, man, I want a big, wide kind of like Halo Wars-esque game where, since you've played Halo 4, imagine, you're commanding units and all. You've got a Spartan unit. Yeah, you just dive into it. It's like you're playing Halo 3. But there's
finish the battle and you go back.
Yeah, there's world objectives. So like you'd hop into this Spartan for a little while, take command of this fight, pop back out, and be like, all right, is everybody else doing okay?
That would be kind of neat because you look at, okay, my line's weak here, so I pop in personally.
Yeah.
You had a game
around.
similar to that back on the you had it was on Sega Genesis, I know, and then they also had it on something else. But it was, you know, how the Ultimate Alliance, you had the little characters and you saw them from an angle, kind of top down from an angle. It was that kind of game, and you had a little commando team. It was you could play one, or if you had a buddy, he'd be playing another one. But it was a total of 4 guys running around on the screen at all time, and you could direct the extra guys to go attack this while you ran over here and did this, and it would pull back, and your general or admiral or whoever was giving you the mission of the day would kind of be showing you what's going on in other places. But
another example of it was the PS1 Space Hulk game, because you had a team of 5 units and you could pop in on a unit and give command and see what was happening.
I think I remember seeing previews for that thing, but never did play it.
Well, yeah, that's
was that like where you're playing in the StarCraft or something, flying around?
You're always in a ship, yes.
Okay.
I
didn't own it. My cousin.
You never control the ship, though. It's always a ship that's been taken over by their
Gene Stealers.
Thank you. I was going to say Necromorph, but that's Dead Space.
Yeah.
They're very similar things, though.
The Gene Stealers were basically the Xenomorphs from that Alien movie, so. And then they expanded into a race of critters controller or whatever.
But it's just that kind of, you know, more open map, because all the ones that I've had have been very closed-in maps, but, you know. But I was just thinking, like, I really enjoy a Halo Wars game where you can pop in as an ODST or as a Spartan, you know, and just start wrecking shop. But, you know, you get, you know, details of, like, you know, we're losing this fight over here. You go, oh, well, pop out, and you could just pull, you know, tell them pull back, retreat, order them around and position them, or you can just go, I'm dropping in an ODST on your ass, and then, you know, bam, and you pop out and just gun it along.
Oh, you at least got the sound effect.
Another line of characters that would be really cool to see that in is the characters and the races from Mass Effect. Because, you know, when you're playing in Mass Effect, you're going from planet to planet or base to base. You have a little freedom of movement, but it's not an open world concept. I think taking something like you're talking about and putting it in that would be great, because, okay, you go to this planet, spend days and days on this planet, running around from different places, you know, and then pull back up into space, have your star fight, and then that'd be cool.
Mine is kind of just a mix between real-time strategy and first-person shooter, because I can't think of a whole lot of them.
No, I really don't. And if you're doing real-time strategy, then it still kind of works when you're running around, because, you know, everybody...
Things are still happening, yeah. It's just... I can see it would be a drain on a computer to be simulating all that, while also simultaneously prepping it for a different style and perspective of 3D modeling.
Yeah.
You know, you would basically have 2 models running for everything at the same time. So I can see why it would be a drain.
It'd be neat if they could pull it off.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, what about you?
I'm torn. Because part of me goes, real simple, couch co-op.
They make some of those now.
Yeah, rare as shit.
They are rare as hen's teeth.
Part of me goes couch co-op, and then part of me goes couch co-op. You remember the Web of Shadows Spider-Man game?
Yes.
Remember that was the one where you could pop the symbiote and all that kind of stuff, and you kept running into like Luke Cage and Wolverine and different people. Yeah, I want a superhero game like that as actually 2-player. I like Ultimate.
They don't do too many kind of open world. That's Spider-Man games called open world. They don't do too many open worlds that are like that.
Well, that Watch Dogs, it's like open world, and if you're online, yeah, you got people like...
Yeah, I ain't talking about online. I'm talking about something where me and my friend could sit down there, and I'm playing Power Man, and you playing Iron Fist, and we go beat up some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That don't exist. They play around with it. Oh, you can be Spider-Man, and hey, look, Luke Cage comes in and helps you. The Punisher game. Oh, look, I'm playing the Punisher. Nick Fury comes in to help you. But you can't have a friend play Nick Fury and come help you. Yeah. That would be something that I would like.
Yeah, couch co-op these days is mostly
sports games,
Diablo-style games. Not all of them even, but a lot of them. And every now and then something like Borderlands.
Most of your first-person shooters can have some form of couch co-op. Well,
the best couch.
I was about to say most, but yeah, several.
The best couch co-op games that I can think of. I never played them with anybody, but they were there, and I'd seen videos of people doing it. Was the Army of Two game?
Yeah, Army of Two.
Oh my God!
We played through those.
We played all those.
I played through all those by myself, but I sat and watched some on the internet one day where these guys went back. Hey, we're going to show this game we loved when we were younger, and I'm sitting there dying laughing because when Todd and Jason were talking about them playing it, these guys were just about having that same kind of visceral reaction in the oh my God, hey, dude, he shoot me. Oh yeah, I gotta have it. I was sitting there rolling, laughing, watching these guys.
Was the second one where I had all my weapons pimped out?
Mm-hmm.
Because the pimped out gold-plated weapon stuff drew more aggro.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that would be our strategy. I'd hang back and get everybody's attention while he snuck around and flanked them.
I tend to like being a sniper in the damn game. I was hell blowing your damn face off while Captain Bling here was like, hey, look at my shiny gun. Look, everybody shoot him. Yeah, keep looking at me, you bastard.
I don't remember if we did that as much in 3. Though in 3, I did the custom mask, so I was running around with a superhero mask.
Yeah. Yeah, it is right. What is it?
It was Patriot from the Brave New World
yeah,
game, where he had the kind of weird flag mask
Yeah.
thing going on.
Yeah. I always look for skulls. Every damn character I play, that's a skull mask. A Borderlands character skull mask.
Alright, Emil, calm down.
Yeah, whatever.
So really, you don't want more couch co-op, period.
I like more couch co-op, but if I got it, since I ain't gonna get it no way, I want couch co-op with superheroes. Not in the Ultimate Alliance style, Diablo style. I want something that's a little more remember the Wolverine game?
Mm-hmm.
I want that, but with Cyclops. Or Sabretooth, or
Deadpool. Anybody that actually, fit. Yeah.
One of the things with that they tend not to, because for some reason programs have started to dislike split screening, which cuts out a lot of couch co-op.
The more advanced your systems get, the harder it gets to split that between two without lowering the graphics considerably.
Trick is in something like Web of Shadows, that kind of game. No, I'm not asking for split screen. I'm not necessarily asking for something where even where you played Army of Two, you had places, or what was it, Gears of War, where you played 2-player. You'd have stuff where like your partner would go off somewhere. No, I just want to have Luke Cage and Iron Fist go through some motherfuckers.
Well,
they can all
I
be
can't
together.
remember. It may be Gears of War. I'm thinking about
if it didn't split screen, it would have to be in like a Ultimate Alliance style camera at least.
Well, the game I'm
If everybody
thinking
looking
of,
at the same screen, looking at the
it's like the aspect ratio changes the further away the two characters get, and it's like you're showing a pan shot, and then okay, they're back together. We'll zoom in on them. And I want to say it was Gears of War. I saw that on a big screen, and because these guys were playing. I saw them demoing a game at like Best Buy or one of them places, where they had it set up. And these two guys, and one went that way, and the camera panned back, and you got a wider shot. And I thought, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before. And then when they got back close together, they went back into a tight shot on it.
All right, before we wrap up, this is kind of in the same subject, shifting gears a little bit though. You two are probably familiar with the term vaporware.
Yeah.
What would you say is a piece of vaporware that when you heard about it, you got excited? Vaporware is something that never actually comes out.
Oh.
They talk about it, you may see screenshots from it. Sometimes even a demo will drop, but the game never actually comes out.
Oh no. Why would you do
Okay,
this to
Tarky,
me?
you go first, because you seem to have a good one.
Why would you do this to me? It's Capcom. I hate Capcom.
And yet you love them.
No, because they didn't make XMen Legends 3. The demo was out for it. But because the guy in charge, he was like, hey, I want to make another Mega Man game. They're like, no. And he left.
And then he made Mighty Number 9. A game I gave money for, and I would kick that man. Kick that little Japanese man I've ever met. Mighty Number 9 was garbage.
And then, the two things that happened afterwards?
He retired, disappeared?
The page for Mega Man Legend 3 stayed up in Capcom, because they had like developer pages where you could be a fan of a project.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most liked project despite being cancelled, despite knowing it will never exist. It is the most liked project, and people kept saying, "Just finish the damn thing. We know you're 80% through on this." Because you had all the playable characters finished and ready. You had the demo that we could play, that you then took off the online store so we couldn't play it anymore. But it was just...
You sit there like, ah!
Yeah, it was just like, it's so close to being fucking done. And it's a big title. Mega Man is a game lots of people know. There's been like 50 games with that name come out.
Including Mega Man Soccer.
The game was so fun! Sorry, that's a different... That game was actually just very easy to manipulate the computers into winning every time. You'd run into a corner and build up a charge shot, and the angle of the shot, the computers never tended to block. And the charge shot could go through one unit. It would always go through the goalie if you named it. Anyway. But yeah, it's Mega Man Legends 3.
I think for me, I can't remember the name of the original game, but it was kind of like the world where Red Dead Redemption, you were a cowboy. You rode around, you know, if you go into a certain area where there's a bunch of saloons, you could have saloon bar fights, shootouts. Your horse, you would ride a horse from one town to the other, and every now and then you'd see, you know, deposits of gold. Get out with shovel and pickaxe, get the gold, and then ride to the next, buy refill your gear. Well, they did one game of it, and then they were talking about, okay, we're going to do the sequel.
Was it on the PlayStation 2 Xbox era?
Yeah.
Was it gun?
It might have been.
Could you hunt wild animals?
Yes.
Was there like the legendary wild animals you'd hunt?
Yes.
And you had to hunt them with a bow or you damage the skins?
Yes.
It's gun, baby!
Okay. They were supposed to make a sequel to
Love
that. And they were, big hype. Oh yeah, basically it was going to be more of a more open thing because you could go from state to state, see some of the old stuff you liked, but there's something going over here. They need gun shooters. Gunslingers. Oh well, we over here we need protection for our miners. So that was what they were pitching it as. And I'm like, okay, that'll be great. And then all of a sudden they just stopped talking about it. Well, the company that was working on the additional software for them, that one company folded, the other company started working on something else. You saw that world in Fallout New Vegas. They just repurposed some of the
a lot of the graphics.
The graphic. That's why I'm saying, why does this? Oh shit, that's the mountain from that you'd ride up, and because they had these canyons and passes.
All right, I'm going to jump in right here. I have never played a game and man, this map is the exact same map. I am not that geographically inclined. I congratulate you, sir, for that.
What made me recognize
Crackdown too.
What made me recognize it is in the first game, you had to find this gunslinger hideout. These guys kept robbing banks or stagecoaches, and if you got the bounty, you went and found them. You knew they hung out in this particular area. Well, when you ride up, there's a double switchback, and you'd always have these guys hidden, and they would throw dynamite at you. And the only way you could kill them is shoot the dynamite. It was an air, and it'd blow them back, and they'd be out of cover, and you could kill them. Well, in the Fallout New Vegas game, you got this area, and as you go up it, all of a sudden these little gecko-type creatures come charging out at you, and some of them will explode if because of the stuff on them. And I'm like, oh crap, they're using And then when I looked on the scroll of who did what, and it's like it was that same company that worked on it. I'm like, they just reused some of this stuff.
Is that the one if you did gunslingers, gunfight, you went into vats? Or was
yes,
that the first Red Dead.
Yeah, no, you could
Red Dead did that sort of.
Red Dead did that.
Yeah, you go into vats in New Vegas.
Yeah,
Vats is that term comes from the
in Red Dead Redemption, it was more of a time targeting, where it kind of pinpointed points, and then when you let go, it could fire off. Rapid succession.
See, in Gun, you had that kind of vats moment. If you especially if you had practiced a lot, depending with the weapon. The more you use the weapon, the better you got with it.
Yeah, you could do a kind of a bullet time mode.
And in Fallout New Vegas, it has vats just like all the Fallout games does, but where you target certain things, depending on the critter or the person, you do more damage. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god! And because you got this town that I think you start out in it. They have a bar there, an old western saloon, And it's one of the same rundown Western saloons in the other game, but in this one they've just got some old signage, that'll light up where in the Western game it didn't. And the bartender is a chick inside this one, and she was the hostess in the other one.
So what would you pick?
No need to waste resources or assets when you already had them. For me, I mentioned the unnamed open world superhero game Bullfrog was going to do. There was another company that was going to do Agents of something. I forget now. That was going to, and this was, I think, a little earlier. That was going to be an XCOM style game. Where you had your team of superheroes, and if they died, you basically could just clone. You could have clones, backups, or whatever.
Yeah, that spawn out.
And I forget all the details of it, but I was into XCOM at the time. Except XCOM was freakishly hard, so I never got very far. But I started a lot of XCOM games back then.
Didn't you have like a unit editor downloaded at one point on your computer?
I think so. That may have been Eric that with that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't recall that. The other one I would bring up is, which even goes back further than the XCOM clone, is Champions. When the Champions 4th edition RPG came out, tabletop RPG came out, they had started up Champions, or Hero Software, because Hero Games was the company that does Champions. And they were designing something that was, gameplay-wise, was basically going to be a side-scrolling, beat-em-up sort of thing. But you were going to be able to design your hero using all the powers out of the Champions book.
Eric Von Eschen showed me that in a magazine. I remember that now.
There was a lot of hype for it, but the computers at the time could not handle it.
Yeah.
And there ended up being a lot of drama. Two people in the company ended up getting a divorce, and may have been some embezzling. I forget. There was a lot of drama went down with the little separate software design company. The only thing usable you ever got out of it was the character creation software, which the 4th edition came packaged on one or two of the old 3.5 floppy drives, or floppy disks.
You're telling our age.
Indeed I am. Oh, but that stuff was magnificent. It wasn't completely bug-free.
You're on a show that has old in the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But Champions was especially a game where having software was very, very useful. And I think they were the first company to release any. Nerds Online had probably done stuff before.
Yeah.
But, well, maybe not online per se at the time. Well, I guess BBS still counts online. I don't know. Anyway,
Close enough.
yeah. But I think they were the first ones to release it themselves, and they didn't even charge you for it. It was just packaged in with the, with the main book.
Kind of like the 3rd edition D&D came with that disc where you could create your characters and print them out.
But they packaged that in there partly to be useful, and it's kind of a gimmick, but also hyping that game.
Yeah.
That never came out. What about you? A game you'd heard about somebody was going to do, but they never actually did.
Oh, the Daredevil where you actually blind.
That was some novel shit.
Did you have the radar sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the trick is, the screenshots of it was like literally like a black screen, and you would have it was based off the Ben Affleck version where you'd have to make noise
to get the.
to be able to,
I remember
to
that
get the ping to be able to see. That was just fucked up on a whole new level.
That could be novel for a level. I don't know if I can handle it.
There is a game that's like that. It's more of a puzzle-based game. But all your sight is based off making noise, and it creates a ripple effect.
Damn that, I want thugs, and if I run out of thugs, I can't see shit.
They were showing, like, on one of the things I was watching, the 10 hardest games, or 10 hardest things in any game, and one of them, it was set, not the Atari, but it was past the Atari, maybe it was early Nintendo, because, the character...
Television.
But, you run into certain levels, and it's just a complete gray screen except for your character, and you start walking, you fall off a pit. You basically had to learn where your turns and navigations was, and I'm like, if I had to do more than one level of that, I think I'd throw the game console out the window, you know. But, you know, if you made it through that, you found this room where there was all this loot and all this, you know, great stuff that you could use, and then it had a door where you teleported back out in where you could see what you were doing. I'm like, no. But you couldn't skip that level. You had to go through it.
You have no dedication.
It does sound like a lack of dedication. I'll be honest.
Quarter.
I didn't say I wouldn't go back out in the yard and pick the thing up and bring it back in. I just said I'd be mad enough to do it.
So anyway, I guess that about wraps us up for this one.
He's been our host.
I have been your host. The experienced some call Jason, and again with me has been
CDO 113.
The token not trying to be the host, Tarky.
And Todd Fault.
Love you.
And we'll see you next time.
And I like you already.